And for the record, would you state your name?
Yes, my name is David McKay.
I think you've said already your degree is in naval architecture.
I didn't say that, but yes, it is.
From where?
From the University of Strathclyde in Glasgow.
And since 1996, while you've resided in Houston, have you been an employee of DNV?
Yes, sir.
What's your job?
My job, I'm a marine surveyor.
You're what?
I'm a marine surveyor.
Okay. How many surveys and audits do you believe you've done?
Probably hundreds. I couldn't put a number on it.
My question was, does the ISM report or audit report on rig safety critical equipment and whether or not it's functioning properly or not functioning properly?
The ISM audit report is a report on the compliance of the safety management system with the requirements of the ISM code.
Does that have anything to do with rig critical safety equipment? Yes or no?
Yes, it does.
And do you spend most of that time when you're working interviewing rig personnel? Is that?
Perhaps it would be useful for you if I talked you through a typical course of events.
Sure.
Normally, of course, as I mentioned, you would arrive by helicopter, so typically the first thing that happens when you arrive on board is, of course, security. They verify you are who you say you are, you have picture ID. Then you have a safety briefing. That's usually either a video or it's a live briefing from the safety officer to explain where the galley is, where your muster station is, where the lifeboats, what to do in the event of emergency, what the different sounding alarms mean, etc. As you're a visitor, then of course you'll get assigned to, if you're staying overnight, you would get assigned a cabin, bunk number, etc. And then following that, usually I would go and meet with the master and make plans to have the audit kick-off meeting or opening meeting, and that's typically a half-hour or so meeting that takes place with the heads of each department on board, where we discuss the plan forward for the audit, we finalise the kind of schedule of who will be interviewed and when. Of course, everybody on board has their normal duties to perform, so they have to find time in their day to accommodate the auditor. Sometimes people are busy or not available at a certain time. Sometimes we have to wait till they're actually off tower or off shift. And then at some point, usually we may have to participate in a drill or conduct one. Typically there's also a safety tour of the rig just to look at the general condition of the vessel and its safety arrangements. But the large part of the day is spent in interviews and associated review of documentation that may be presented as evidence of something that comes up during the interview.
Okay. And that includes maintenance records?
Typically, yes. Typically, I would look into maintenance records.
And would you say that the Transocean rigs tend to have overdue maintenance?
Yeah, as a subset of the all, then by definition, the Transocean ones, when you go on board at any one time, you could look in the planned maintenance system and you might find a few items that were past their due date. So, yes.
You were asked some questions earlier about maintenance and overdue maintenance and routine maintenance, observations that you may have made at different points in time. And I think you testified that the condition of a rig tells you a lot about the maintenance program of a company or a crew on board a rig. Is that a fair characterization of what you were alluding to?
Yeah, I think what I said was that the condition of the rig tells you a lot about the standards of maintenance and the safety management system and how closely the crew we're following up that safety management system.
All right. Now, based upon your observations as both a naval architect and a marine surveyor, and your interviews of the crew, and when you looked at the rig, all right, based upon that, as well as your review of the rig maintenance system, the RMS system concerning maintenance, did you reach a conclusion about the quality of Transocean's maintenance program aboard the Deepwater Horizon?
Objection.
The vessel appeared to be well maintained to me on both visits, as far as I can remember. It was clean, tidy. There wasn't apparent safety hazards. The maintenance system was by and large up to date. There was some minor problems which I think I reported in 2007. The crew were very professional about how they regarded making sure that they did what they were supposed to do with regard to their duties. So it seemed to be a well-run operation from my perspective.
All right. Is it fair to say that from your direct involvement in April of 2005 until April of 2009, the Transocean corporate safety management system has always been in compliance with the ISM code?
In my opinion, it has. I've endorsed the document of compliance each year for satisfactory completion of the audit, and the document of compliance does in fact state that it's a certificate to state that the system has been found in compliance with the requirements of the ISM code. So by endorsing it each year, it's a renewed statement, if you like, from me as the auditor saying, I think that you continue to comply.